What's up, Geeks and Gamers? It's me. I am back. My triumphant return. I'm not as good looking as the guy that was replacing me. I'm not as funny. I'm not as witty. I'm not as charming. And I don't know Gina Carano as well. But Ryan demanded that I come back to host because he was being overshadowed by the great Drunk 3PO. Hi, Ryan.
Yeah, Jay was just taking my shine away, to be honest with you. He was just too clever and too witty, and we needed to bring back someone really stupid. All right. So we brought back Jeremy. We brought balance to the force. But no, for real, the chat loved Jay filling in for
he did
for
a great
couple days there.
He was awesome. He was awesome. And yeah, I'm sure you'll see more of Jay here on Geeks and Gamers Daily in the future for sure. So shout out to him. But love all of you. Appreciate all of you. Yes, we got the 199 back here on the back right here. Krista Nova set that up while I was gone. So that's pretty awesome. I think that looks kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So I like it. 199 in the house representing. But
literally in the house.
But yeah, we got a few things to talk about. I see all of you in the chat. What is 199? I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I have no idea. Do you know, Ryan? It's just a number.
Just a number.
Yeah, it's just a number. Yeah, I know we got a big Friday Night Tights today, and we're gonna be discussing I don't know, something. There's some film that came out that that's
about a fish or some
about a fish or something like that with some identity politics. But anyway, how have you been, Ryan? It's been a whole 2-3 days since we streamed.
It seems like a lifetime when we're streaming every day. But yeah, I've been okay. We've been holding it down here, Geeks and Gamers. We hit I talked about it yesterday. We hit a big milestone over on Sports Wars. We hit 150,000 subs over on the Sports Wars Geeks and Gamers channel. Yes. So that's fun. That's awesome. Yes. Grinding away over there. So just everything keeps rolling for G&G, which is a good thing.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. 150,000 subscribers on a channel that, man, I was told when I focused on that channel, it was never going to do anything, and I was making a mistake. And then Ryan came along and took it to the moon. So yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, this whole thing, like, we got the indie stuff to talk about. We got the Flash stuff to talk about. We'll probably get into a little bit of the Little Mermaid stuff with all the discrepancies with the review. The reviews it's kind of all over the place. It really is. I still tend to think it's going to.
There's a big difference between like how the top critics, like the people that are like at Hollywood Reporter or the Varieties or the Vanity Fair, like those types of people versus the all critics score. And there's also obviously a big difference between verified and not verified audience scores.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't make it last night because I was traveling. I got in about 4 a.m. So I just couldn't do anything with it. I was going to do like I was planning on doing a square up, and I went ahead and did all the super chats on Wednesday. But we'll be back tonight with Cobra Cast for sure. We will have one. I see you. Yes, we will. It will. Normal time is Friday. So we will be back on Cobra Cast. We got the Red Ranger for a member message. If Jeremy isn't here, we get to throw onions at him. Onion gang, rise up. Well, I'm here, but you can still throw onions at me if you choose to. Blake Barnett, listening to Geeks and Gamers while exploring the depths. Hey, as long as we're entertaining you, that's all that matters, right? Butterbiscuit, whoa, you're on time and early. Kick Jeremy, bring back that drunk guy, you supremacist, LOL. What's up, Butterbiscuit? Powerfully Weenus. Hope you guys are doing well. We missed you yesterday, Jeremy. Thank you. Jeremy, how's Leia doing? Says Axel. Don't see her anymore. Leia's doing great. She's Leia and Puppy, my dogs. I haven't had them on camera in a long time. But I was just in Pensacola all week, and I miss my dogs. But next time Pensacola, I can give them a cameo if you guys would like. So Ryan will only eat white onions, says the Dasco. Is that true, Ryan?
I guess kind of. I don't really eat red onions. But I'm not a big raw onion person. I can do onions if they're like cooked in something or like diced up, like stuff like that. I don't like just big fucking raw onions. I don't like that shit.
I don't like
put it on my hamburger. I can do like the diced up onions. You cook them on the grill and stuff. Those are fine. I don't like raw onions. Fuck that shit.
I don't like onions on my burger or hot dog or anything. I don't like them anywhere. That's like Crystal. I used to like the only reason I don't eat Crystal burgers, and I like the small little burgers. They're like bite size or whatever. No matter what, if I order with no onions, there's always fucking onions on it. Like every time, there's like at least 4 or 5 onions on it.
Crystal's like White Castle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped going. I was like, all right, fine. I'm tired. I'm tired of not getting what I want. Basically, it's what it feels like to be Ryan when I go to Crystal. You know, they mess it up every time. It always has onions every single time. I don't do onions at all. But Ryan, what do we got to talk about today?
Well, you started off talking about the Little Mermaid. We may as well just take a look at that briefly. We do have, listen, the critic score has been out for a little while. It was out a couple weeks early. Now we have these audience scores. And hey, look at that 95% audience score for The Little Mermaid. And when you check this out, you talked about the discrepancy. There is definitely a discrepancy between the all audience, which has 5,000 ratings already, and the verified audience, which has 500 plus. Now, I'm not going to pretend like everyone in this all audience score, they all saw the movie and they all hated it. There's obviously going to be, just like with anything, there's going to be some fake reviews on both sides, both positively and negatively. Also, something to keep in mind, the hoops you have to jump through to do the fucking verified audience thing, to link like your Fandango, to link all this different shit together that a lot of people just don't use to get movie tickets anyway, is a big pain in the ass. And a lot of people just quite frankly don't do it. But there's a huge discrepancy right now between the audience scores for sure. And I think more interestingly, the top critics versus the all critics.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy that even like, wow. I expected this movie to have a 95%, critic rating. And top critics is lower than I expected. But I mean, all critics is lower than I expected, but the top critics is even worse. I guess they're all racist, Ryan. That's what I have been told over and over again. If you do not like movies with a black lead character with race swapped characters, then you are racist. You are toxic. That is what I have heard over and over again.
Right. And, this is all, take it with whatever you want to take it with. Rotten Tomatoes has been, compromised for a long time. We saw even when we went through like the verified reviews for The Woman King, you could see some very clearly like botted reviews. There was like no mistaking it. It was very obvious that some of these companies have figured out a way, whether it's working with Rotten Tomatoes or finding some other way around it, of a workaround. But it's interesting nonetheless when you look at these reactions. Obviously, for Friday Night Tights, we're talking about The Little Mermaid tonight. I went and saw this movie last night. Thankfully, the theater wasn't very full. Got to give Fast X a little bit more of my money. Still haven't seen that fucking whole movie yet because I fell asleep in it. But I got to be honest. I'll be totally honest. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't a miserably, terrible, horrifically bad movie. I think that the first...
Chill.
I'm just saying. Now, it certainly wasn't good, and I wouldn't recommend people go see it or anything like that. And there were obviously some changes in there made clearly for the purposes of identity politics, including Ariel. Yes, verified. Ariel is the one who fucking flops on a boat and steers the boat into Ursula at the end instead of Eric. She's the one that kills Ursula, like completely contrary to what happens in the original one. But what I will say is I think Halle Bailey's a great singer. She has a great voice. I don't think she's a super strong actress, and the effects are really off-putting. I feel like underwater. I feel like it does not look very good. Overall, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen like I was expecting it to be, but it certainly wasn't any good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I have a way to see it, so I might see it before Friday Night Tights. We'll see. But I don't like. Well, I asked the audience here, and that is 60. I think it was like 65% said no, do not go see it. So I really don't have any desire to see this stupid fucking movie, but it is a talking point, and I am certainly going to get back to making videos on this channel, so be on the lookout for that. Probably starting Monday, I'll be back to the making daily uploads here on this channel. It's been too long for me to make regular videos, so I kind of got to get back in the grind of that. But I don't know, man. Like this movie kind of reminds me of how the reasons that like with Ghostbusters 2016. I never saw Ghostbusters 2016, And honestly, I ain't gonna lie, like when Ghostbusters 2016 was announced, and this was before wokeness and identity politics was really part of the discussion. It really wasn't something that was on the minds of most people. So when the Ghostbusters 2016 movie was announced, I didn't like hate the idea of it. It wasn't the worst thing ever. I thought it was a little cringy, but like I was like, whatever. Is Paul Feig guy. He's made a few comedies that were successful. Let's see what happens. And then the discussion started to happen around it. And that's where you started to finally see like everybody's racist or sexist if they don't like this movie. And it's like, well, what? No, like you're completely hijacking a property. And eventually I just never saw Ghostbusters 2016. I'm like, I'm not even gonna fucking see this movie because I'm tired of the discussion. And of course, that was before my grifting days too. But anyway, I don't
just
know.
think it's really clear to me that they're drew right from the fucking animated movie for a lot of different things, like certain scenes, the way they speak, like the way they try to emulate her voice or Ariel's voice, the way, like even shots, like from angles that were taken of certain things that happen. They were like carbon copies from the animated movie. So it makes everything that's not a carbon copy stick out like a sore thumb because clearly you knew exactly the shit that you're pulling from. So they made these changes very specifically and very strategically to make Ariel black, obviously, to have Eric's mom be in the picture, some black queen, right? To like is just never explained in any way whatsoever, even though Grace Randolph might love it. The decision to have Ariel steer the ship into him at the end, this speech that King Triton gives her about, I had never listened to you, but now I hear you and I will listen to your voice. Like shit like that. It so clearly stands out when they obviously put effort in to make things look exactly like the original movie. Overall, yeah. I expected going into it that it was going to be a fucking 1 out of 10. It ended up being like 3 or a 4 out of 10. You know, that's kind of how I felt about it. It wasn't the complete dumpster fire that I expected.
I think I still feel like this movie is going to be successful. Now, what is success? Again, I think the overall optics of it are going to be a success in terms of it's going to make money. Is it going to make $1 billion? I don't think so, but I also am not taking that off of the table. Nostalgia is a powerful thing. The Little Mermaid is a very beloved animated film from, back in the day. And we've seen this song and dance a few times. And just the discussion around this movie has been so kind of crazy. The numbers, whether they've been negative, have still been out there. And I think this movie still has a chance to do well at the box office, shockingly enough.
Yeah. So from my experience in that theater, it was too long. You could tell a lot of like the families that were in there, the kids were getting bored and like starting to talk and shit like that. They got bored with it. They did fucking clap at the end or whatever. Theater was probably about half full. With the new budget that came out, the $250 million that we found at this movie actually cost, despite them telling us for the past several months, oh, it's only $150 to $200 million budget. No, it's $250 now. So this is a movie that $750, maybe if that marketing budget is massive, maybe even $800 million to break even. So I guess we'll see. I think it's going to be in that realm.
Gary said, I'm on my way to see it for the show. If I can, you can. All right, Gary, if I can go to Disney parks and talk about what's going on, you can too. How about that? Mister, I'm never going to Disney parks. How about you go to Disney parks? If I can, you can, Gary. Fuck this movie. I don't want to see this fucking movie. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, just think of it this way. Instead of, like, I went there expecting to just get shot in the head. And instead of getting shot in the head, I got, like, shot in the leg. Like, that's how it felt. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, man. I see MCU fans. So MCU fan is super chatting, gifting memberships, but at the same time saying that they're not super chatting or gifting memberships. Now, MCU fan, you've been a lot of things, but we haven't actually caught you lying yet. Now we've caught you lying. So we're okay with your support, MCU fan. Okay. We know you love Geeks and Gamers. You've made us a lot of money and we appreciate that. All right. We also know that since you are a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, you don't have a lot going on in your life. There's no good movies to talk about. So you need to support something that actually has substance, which would be Geeks and Gamers. So thank you, MCU fan. We appreciate it. Okay. We appreciate it. So thank you. I just see the MCU fan fighting with himself, man. He's like that guy. Remember that clip that Perry Chan used with that guy fighting on the street corner?
Yeah.
That's MCU fan. He's fighting himself right now. He's just
He
punching
actually
air.
is.
He's just punching air. So pretty damn funny.
Let's see what do we got in chat here. Ellie Reen from Member for a Month. I'm not really interested in seeing the new Little Mermaid. It looks pretty watered down compared to the original and flounders in comparison. It can't hold a candle to the original. There's no doubt about that. Gabriel Knight for 5. What's worse, Indy surviving a nuke in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, or Indy yelling at his young hippie neighbors to turn down their loud Beatles music in Dial of Destiny? Yeah, that's something that reportedly happens. We're going to get into this because there's the whole, like, Indy 5 is basically completely leaked now. But there's one specific thing, the ending, that we're going to get into today that Jeremy's going to find out about.
Yeah, I'm not, because again, I've been pretty busy the last few days, and pretty checked out on certain stuff. But there's a poll in the chat, so we'll see what people say. So, what the fuck? That one's going in the complete wrong direction. The hell happened?
Should you see it? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Thunderstrike for 10. What's been more destructive, Kathleen Kennedy to Star Wars or Fat Man and Little Boy to Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Well, look, Japan rose from the ashes of the atomic wastelands, okay? And like Japan is now just this fucking, great world power, all this stuff. I don't know if Star Wars can rise from the dead. So right now,
I can't.
I'm going to say Kathleen Kennedy to Star Wars.
Star Wars cannot recover. What the fuck? It's 68% yes. The hell, guys?
Means you're going.
I shouldn't have done that. I should have just stayed with the last one.
You got one that was like surprising to you. Yeah, you should have stuck with it. MCU fan with a gifted membership. Thank you. And then MCU fan super chats for $5. Thank you, MCU fan. I was grounded for a week for telling my mom she's ableist for asking me to clean my room. I'm back, though. She can't stop me. Hell yeah, MCU fan.
I blame Gary for the results of this poll. I blame Gary.
Tack86 with 5 gift subs. Thank you, Tack. Mike Hill for 5. Ryan, will be checking out the Barbie movie after the new trailer released? No, I'm not. I'm not interested in the Barbie movie. I'm not interested in Little Mermaid either, but reviewed for FNT. So I don't think we're reviewing Barbie for FNT, thank God. But I didn't watch the new Barbie trailer. I don't really care about it. That's clearly not a fucking movie that's like made for me. So it doesn't really matter to me. MCU fan with another gifted sub. Thank you.
MCU fan. MCU fan loves Geeks and Gamers. Loves it.
Mikey Gussler for $2 asked Nerdrotic, did you invite Jay Longbone on tonight? I guess he'll have to answer in the chat.
Yep.
CJ
69%.
Well, you know what? Better end it right there on a good note. So 69% say yes. You can't say no to the people, Jeremy. CJ
I am not happy.
This is not okay. It's just not.
CJ for $5. Given the success of live action Lion King and Aladdin, if this movie just barely breaks even, it's still a failure, right? Certainly, there's different things. There's internal failures and there's public failures. I think if this movie gets over $800 million, it's going to be seen as a public success.
Yes, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
I don't think there's really any denying that. I don't think, like, if it hits $1 billion, certainly. But I think 800 million publicly is like what it needs for it to look like a success to most people, even if the budget's massive, even if the marketing budget's massive, and even if it's really not making them a ton of money. That's, I think, what the thing will be. That's the benchmark, I think, for this movie to be considered a success.
Yep. And I think it's going to hit that number just based on the conversation I've seen around it online. I think more people. I think people are enjoying it more than previously anticipated. So
Yeah, I think after seeing that it's bad, but it ain't the worst thing ever, I do think I was thinking 700 to 800 million dollar range. That's where my kind of guess has been in that realm. I think word of mouth could be better for it than possible. But the international box office, Flash pointed out in the chat, I talked about that yesterday here on this channel and also on my channel. The international box office right now is not loving this movie. Not even close. Not, and it is somewhat because of Fast X is still out there, but it's also just not pulling numbers. So if it doesn't do well internationally, I don't think it's going to be able to get to that number because the split that we've seen historically for these Disney live actions is heavy international. Aladdin made almost twice as much internationally. Lion King made almost twice as much internationally as it did domestically.
Mm-hmm.
So internationally, it's a struggle right now. What will the hold be? Will it overperform? We'll have to see. Kyle Denson for 5. It'll break even, but won't go far. I expect to see a big box office weekend, then it'll drop from there. My honest, reasonable prediction. Well, thank you, Kyle. Zero Enoch for 6. You two seen the new Tommy Robinson documentary, Silenced? I have not seen that one, no. Fyodor Dankstoyevsky for 5. Hearing from multiple people that children got bored in the screenings is the worst thing for this film, and it's word of mouth. I agree. I did feel a little bit of that. It's too long. The movie drags on in the middle a lot. It shouldn't have been 2 hours and 12 minutes. I think the animated one's like 88 minutes, 90 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, the animated one's kind of short, sweet, and to the point. Like it doesn't, drag on. But 2 hours and 12 minutes is dog shit. Guess who gets to go enjoy that now?
Mm-hmm. My cum smells for 2. Ryan, how much did Disney pay you? They gave me, I cannot tell you. They gave me so much money for giving their movie a 3 out of 10. I can't begin to tell you how much Disney paid me. Grem Paltakin for 199. Hard pass on Dildo of Destiny. Yeah, everybody should. My cum smells for 5. Jeremy, if me old smelly cum has to see it, then you should too.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Love that audience. Thank you, audience. We appreciate you so much. Hail the 199. 69% said yes. At least it's a good number, but that's it. I would have preferred it said 69% said no.
Andrew CR for 1,000. Is this check? I don't ever remember what the CRC money is, but thank you. Do it, Jeremy. Oh, he's doing it. JG member for 13 months. We demand an out of theater review of The Little Mermaid, Jeremy.
God.
You're gonna have to know.
Yeah, now it's over. What do y'all want you want a car video from the Mustang? Is that what you want? Let me put a camo hat on and count how many good black people were in it.
A lot. That would be the answer. Undoubtedly, there's a lot of good black people. All of them, really. There's really like only one bad person. And it's Melissa McCarthy. So. But we do have to get into the Dial of Destiny stuff here. We do have to get into this because it's nonsensical, and this is going to be a surprise to Jeremy because I don't think he's heard any of this stuff yet.
No, I haven't. I haven't heard any of this. I've been too focused on politics with my free time lately.
We saw how the release at the Cannes Film Festival of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny completely backfired on Lucasfilm. They thought the elites, the critics, they thought they were going to love it. In fact, no, they were very, very split. And some of the things the critics were saying had fans worried because it's exactly what fans were worried about. That Phoebe Waller-Bridge leads around Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones the entire movie, that she overshadows him, that it's an old, broken Indiana Jones. And now that this movie's been seen by so many people, we do have some leaks out there that confirm, if they're right, everyone's worst fears. And it's a very in-detailed leak of this movie. Alleged Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny plot leak claims Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character makes the heroic choice to knock out Indiana Jones to protect history.
Oh, no.
And to put this in perspective, after they use the Dial of Destiny to travel back in time, according to these spoilers, Indiana Jones wants to stay there because there's nothing for him in 1969. There's nothing for him in that world anymore. His life's terrible. His life's ruined. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like, no, you can't stay here. You'll change history. You'll ruin the course of history. You'll ruin the world. And Indiana Jones still doesn't want to come back. So she knocks him out and drags him back to the future, where she is the one that saves the day. She is the one that can't convince him to do the right thing. So she has to punch him and knock him out in order to save the entire world, to save history itself.
Oh my God.
Let's get into some of the details here. So long story short, there's a lot of plot leaks. We knew for a while when we saw those like Roman soldiers and everything in the leaked footage and leaked pictures that they were going to do this time travel thing. And yes, they travel like back 2,000 years, defeat the enemy, blah, blah, blah. But from there, it details that Indiana Jones does not want to return to his present, but would rather stay there because he believes there's nothing for him in 1969. In contrast, Helena attempts to convince Indy to return to the present, believing if he stays in the past, he would change the course of history. Indy apparently is unconvinced by Helena's arguments, so she resorts to punching him and knocking him out. When Indy awakes back in 1969, he's in his bed. He then reproaches Helena for having brought him back to the present, even though there's nothing for him there. However, Helena counters there is something for him to continue living for, and Marion shows up in his apartment with groceries. Keep in mind, we know from the trailer and everything that Indiana Jones is like going through a divorce. That they killed off his son. They killed off Shia LaBeouf, who died in the Vietnam War, apparently. And he's getting a divorce. He's an old,
Jesus
broken,
Christ,
bitter
dude.
old man who has nothing going on. But Helena convinces him to come back, and then everything is okay. What do you think about that, Jeremy?
This sounds like a Kathleen Kennedy production right here. Holy shit. This is incredibly bad. And they can't even, again, they haven't even won over the shills on this one. You know what I mean? Even the shills aren't praising it based on what we're hearing. But yeah, I mean, this is why every project that is announced by Lucasfilm Disney, people have their doubts, people are concerned, people are worried, because we've seen this time and time and time again, the feminist propaganda. And that is what this is. This is feminist propaganda. This is anti-male feminist propaganda. Once again, Harrison Ford being cucked once again with one of his iconic characters. And you really can't make this stuff up. You cannot make it up. But yeah, I 100% believe it. And this is Kathleen Kennedy. Apparently, this is her, one of her, this has been rumored, but of course, who knows about Kathleen Kennedy rumors? I look at it from a perspective of her age, and I have to imagine she is definitely towards the end of her run, simply from her age standpoint, not because Lucasfilm wants to get rid of her, because clearly they don't, because she's there, and she's going to be there until she wants to leave. But this has been kind of promoted as her kind of, her swan song or whatever. And it sounds like exactly what you would expect from Kathleen Kennedy. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's just what they want to do with Harrison Ford's characters at Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Say whatever you will about Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. At the end of that movie, him and Marion get married. They're like ready to start this life that they feel like has probably, been on pause for a long time. They get reconnected. They have this son. They have this family. It's a good ending for Indiana Jones. To immediately erase that in this movie, to kill off Shia LaBeouf's character, and to have him just an old, bitter old man going through divorce and has nothing to live for. And he's at the end of his life and has nothing to live for. Sounds a lot like fucking Harrison Ford in Han Solo and Force Awakens, to be honest with you. But just to try to then recapture that reconnection between them, the same thing that they just did in the last movie, it's just bullshit, man. And the fact that Indiana Jones, that this dude who will do anything to preserve history, right, would not go back, would risk changing the course of history and disrupting everything because he's just this bitter, broken old man. That's not Indiana Jones.
It's more character assassination. What they're good
Phoebe
at.
Waller-Bridge's character to be the moral compass for Indiana Jones is laughable. And if these are true, which they're really detailed, this movie has been seen by a lot of people. I don't really have a reason to believe that they're not at least somewhat accurate. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. But again, look at what we're dealing with. And that's why it's so easy to believe this stuff. I mean, again, I'll never forget when me and Mahler read the leaks for Game of Thrones season 8, and we just kept going, there's no way there's no way it's this bad. They can't be this dumb. And it's for a different reason, you know what I mean? But then we saw remember Rise of Skywalker leaks, and all of that. We're like, man, is it this bad? There's no way yes. You know what I mean? So we'll see if this actually is true, but Hollywood does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. They don't deserve it. Their job is they have to convince you that, they are doing a good job. They're not owed anything. We don't owe any of them anything. And they have proven time and time again that they are not to be trusted. So, and look, I hope this movie fails miserably, just because I think it deserves to. But it's going to be an interesting discussion. What did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull make? And I know that was a long time ago, but what did it make?
750, a little under 800 million, maybe. Let me check.
That's a pretty good haul for back then. That's a really good haul.
It was an expensive movie, though, like a very expensive movie, because that was what, 2008, something like that. It was definitely like at least a $225 million budget. Look.
Yeah, because that's a good haul. So I'm just curious how strong.
$786 million worldwide.
Okay.
It was only $185 million budget. So yeah, it was a good haul. Definitely a good haul for them. Despite the audience not feeling super great about it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So that just shows you that the power of the brand was still there. And I guess the question is how powerful is it now versus not just the brand of Indiana Jones, but how badly Lucasfilm is damaged. How badly Disney has damaged Lucasfilm properties in general, so. Yeah,
certainly. And I didn't think there's a distrust for Disney. I think there's a distrust for Lucasfilm. I think people are willing to go see Crystal Skull because it's like, okay, this character's been gone for a long time.
Dial of Destiny.
No, I think there was a willingness for people to go see Crystal Skull.
Oh, you think there was back then? Okay.
Yes,
my bad.
yeah.
Okay.
And we haven't seen this character in a long time. Let's see how it is. George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, blah, blah, blah. But it's just not the same now. People saw that. They gave it a chance. Didn't feel great about it. A lot of people now still say there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies, which is probably, I don't say you're wrong or anything for feeling that way. I just don't know if they're going to come back out in the same way for this one, which they need to. What Crystal Skull made is what Indy needs to make to break even at a minimum. You know what I mean? Depending on what marketing is. So.
Well, I mean, it ain't looking good for this movie. So, and again, the general public, it's such a strange thing, man, because the general public, while they don't pay attention to things like we do, there's little things that connect with them in different ways. And something like Solo, which again, Solo lost money. In theory, that should have done really well. But I guess when people saw that Harrison Ford was not in it and they were going back in an era when, it just didn't make sense. Audiences just didn't connect to it. Lightyear's another one that I was shocked that it lost as much money as it did. But again, you didn't have Tim Allen back. And this one, you still do have Harrison Ford, even though he's very old. He is still there in this role. And so it will be interesting to see how the audience plays to the general audience.
Certainly. Let's go back to hit some of these super chats. Roman for a month says nobody should have to see The Little Mermaid. No one should have to. I agree.
69% says different, apparently.
Mr.
The audience
Gill,
is always right, though.
Mr. Gill for 5. The Little Mermaid's an affront to the ocean-bound community. There you go. Chef Nick Nero for 199. Ryan is FBI. Seen the IG post. Yeah, pretty much all of mine look like I'm a Fed. So, Cliff 199. Jeremy, you know why? Because we're masochists.
And I see a bunch of new members tonight. Thank you so much, or today. So thank you guys for the new members. So Carolyn becoming a member of the 199.
That's good. What's up, Carolyn? Hayden for 5. Jeremy, you're our only hope to confirm it's a 1 out of 10, not Ryan's rating of an 8 out of 10. Also, it'd make for good FNT. CJ for 5. Jeremy, quick, bring in the 2 a.m. mail-in vote van.
Yeah, I heard that.
Dr. Quagsire for 5. I heard Mario movie passed Lion King domestically. If not, let's agree Mario gets the dub. Probably. Lion King made somewhere around 500 million something domestically. Because Lion King made over $1 billion internationally.
That is insane.
What's insane is that that Force Awakens made almost $1 billion domestically. That's what's insane.
Yeah.
That
I mean, the hype was crazy, man. The hype
that
was
might
crazy.
be like, we might never see anything break that record, like for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the next highest is like Endgame at like
700.
750. It's not even close.
And Endgame felt even bigger than Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wild. Again, Force Awakens making $900 and something million domestically compared to what happened with The Rise of Skywalker is such an indictment. It's such an indictment of what we've seen from Lucasfilm. I mean, you can't defend it. You can't defend it.
CG Hero 23 for $10 over on Rumble. What's up to our Rumble squad? Hey guys, first time Rumble rant. Hail the 199. Christopher Jeremy. Have you ever played Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare? And if so, what are your thoughts?
Hated both of them. Played them enough to not even. So I didn't even play the campaigns on them just because I've always been more of a multiplayer person for Call of Duties. I was heavily into Call of Duty during Modern Warfare 1, 2, obviously Black Ops 1 and 2, World at War, all of that. But Ghost, I can't remember what came. Modern Warfare 3 or Ghost. I can't remember what came first. But Ghost is where I really checked out. But I guess Modern Warfare 3 is where I started to kind of lose my love for Call of Duty. I didn't hate Modern Warfare 3, but after that, like a lot of this advanced warfare and all of that, they were basically trying to do the whole Titanfall ripoff at that point. And why would I play those games when I could just play Titanfall, which is a far superior game? And I didn't get back into Call of Duty until I guess Modern Warfare 2019, but more so Black Ops Cold War. And I did like Black Ops Cold War a lot. But I will be playing Modern Warfare 2 this weekend, the new Modern Warfare 2 this weekend.
What was the one where you're like in space? Was that Infinite Warfare or Advanced? It was Infinite, right?
Warfare.
Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, I believe. It was
not gonna lie, I didn't love the multiplayer on that. I love the campaign. It wasn't a Call of Duty thing, but it was. I just really I enjoyed the campaign and I liked flying that shit around. So
yeah, I think that was Infinite Warfare, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't play that one much.
I think so too. Omar Pintor for 2. Jeremy should see the movie with pineapple pizza.
Ugh. Don't try to kill me.
Gabriel Knight for 5. I hope Dial of Destiny is a success so we can get a sequel. Indiana Jones and the damn kids who won't stay off my lawn. Apparently that is what happened. Like in the beginning of the movie, when Harrison Ford wakes up from a bender, he like hears people playing music, maybe the Beatles or something, and he like runs downstairs, tells them like, knock off that noise, shit like that. Sparta Chris for 5. Palpatine sees the results of Jeremy's poll. I love democracy. I love the Republic. With this power you give me, Jeremy will go see the movie.
Well, I'm going. Thanks to you guys. But hey, the chat is always right, and you make the day better every single day. So I'm okay with that.
Indiana Jones in the afternoon nap. Yeah. Indiana Jones in the early dinner. That is fucking old, man. Fyodor Dostoevsky for 5. If you're Chinese and see The Little Mermaid, that has to negatively affect your social credit score, right? I don't think you have to worry about it because no one's going to see this movie in China. So, The Exalted Patriarch for 5. The Patriarchy urges Jeremy not to watch it. Shit Clown Wars is Chernobyl, not Fat Man and Comics Division. Hail the 199. There you go.
JS Pena, I did another poll today and it got overwhelmingly 69% said yes. So, and I blame Gary. Gary is in the chat and he influenced it. He was the mail-in ballots right there. Gary was the mail-in ballots of Geeks and Gamers.
Bend over for a month. Jeremy, don't see it. Your sanity is more important. He'll be fine. Powerfully Weenus for 2. The vote was rigged. I want a recount. I think so. Michael Harvey for 2. Scuttlebutt is the perfect international anthem for our clown world. Scuttle was annoying as fuck. That fucking bird was awful. Aquafina is awful in that movie. Every fucking scene, basically, that she's in is just fucking annoying. Cage Phoenix for 5. Raiders my favorite movie. Hearing those leaks literally hurts me. I can still try to pretend this movie doesn't exist, but it might be difficult.
Hey, what's the rules on going to see this movie? Like, you have to be black or whatever? Like, is it like Wakanda Forever?
I haven't heard any rules like that yet, but maybe.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. Like, because
Again, you gotta buy a Fast X ticket and walk in.
well, I posted a picture of me and you after we saw Wakanda Forever. Did you see that? I tagged you on Twitter. This is me and Ryan after we saw Wakanda Forever. Right
Oh,
here.
yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, it's me and Ryan right there. That's right after we saw it. We were so excited. So we were like, yeah, we love this movie. So
yeah, what we said, Wakanda is mega country. Hayden for 20. I mean, let's be real. Phoebe Waller-Bridge just knocked out an 80-year-old man. She's supposed to be the good guy. For what? Elder abuse? For saving the world. Saving the timeline, Hayden. Saving the timeline.
Bro, MCU fan just did the not joke. God, what fucking year is it?
1999.
Haha, so funny. Not. Oh my God.
Yeah, 1999. You think it's funny mocking racial stereotypes? What's the fucking stereotype? What is the stereotype that we're mocking?
Yes. Those guys are awesome.
All black people are Nigerian bodybuilders who assault Jesse Smollett for money. Like, what's the stereotype?
Does anybody remember the video that they released with them?
Oh, I'm gonna beat your ass.
What
beat
was
your
it?
word. Like, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, it's the best video I've ever seen. Where's it at? We're gonna fucking watch it really quick. Keep reading. I'll look for it.
Fyodor Dankstoyevsky for 5. Keep in mind, the Indy 5 we're getting was reshot. Imagine how disrespectful the first cut was that woke Disney had to tone it down. Yeah, we'll see how much was actually changed. I have my doubts, to be honest with you. Scott McKenzie with a gift membership. Thank you, Scott. Gemstone for 199. Thank you. Ronan the Crusader for 199. It's not just bad. This is legitimately insulting. Mike Hill for 5. This is what happens when Spielberg and Lucas are not in charge of the movie. Yes. Lord J for 5. Man, these indie fanfic films sound like doggy doo-doo. No thanks. KK and her writers need to go back to Tumblr. Kara Lynn, we said that already, but becomes a channel member. Again, thank you, Kara. Ben Ryder for 5. It's Indiana Jones and the Insufferable Feminist. Hat tip to Nerdrotic for calling the movie what it really is, and I will only call the movie by it.
Hey, Ryan, I put it in a private chat. You play it. It always plays better on your end. This is the greatest video ever. How does this only have 66,000 views? How?
It went viral on Twitter.
How does this only... Dude, this should have millions and millions of views. It's one of the greatest videos ever.
A beautiful bench. This is where we waited for Justin. So we were like, damn, what do? We didn't have no way of contacting him. He had no way of contacting us. So we waited here for about, what, 4 minutes?
It was about 4 minutes, 4 minutes, but it felt like forever.
Because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner of my eye.
These guys need a podcast.
And I was like, okay, that's him. Let's go. We gotta go get this Empire. Yeah, that's him. That's him. Is that him?
That's that nigga.
It's that nigga.
Get that nigga.
Oh, move fast. Come on, let's get him.
Get that nigga.
Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said hey to get his attention.
Hey, nigga.
Hey. He turned around, looked at us, and that's when we started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey,
aren't you that Empire?
Empire fat nigga. It's MAGA country. Yeah. And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. I held the blow because I didn't want to hurt him, of course. So I made it look real, but I held it. Then we started tussling, moving around, and then I threw him to the ground. He wanted it to look like he fought back. That was very important for him because he said, hey, don't just beat my ass, make it look like I'm fighting back and whatnot. So we did that, and then I threw him to the ground. And after I threw him to the ground, he had no bruise. I wanted it to look more real. So then I threw him to the ground. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie. So I went like this. Why did I do that? To give him a scar, to give him a mark, to make it look real. Like he
Bro, that shit's crazy.
It's so good, man. That's such a good video, man. Holy shit.
Hey, you Empire F word. This is MAGA country, N-word. Imagine just being there while those guys reenacted that. Like walking across the street and seeing them. They're gonna walk in like that. Graph Tanker for 5, Rise of Skywalker all over again. Sparta Chris for 5, don't forget about Disney Indies being KK Swan Song. It's more like her over-exaggerated death of a villain. Just dropped dead already. Not literally. Cage Phoenix for 199. Killing Off Mud is also just dark as hell. That's fucking, man. That was the shocking part of the leak to me. The way that they did that is crazy. Eli Saul for 2. Everything Kathleen touches turns to shit clown. Yes. Gemstone for 2. Little Mermaid in Iowa cinemas completely empty so far. Enoch for 15. I still can't decide whether it's complete incompetence or disconnection from reality or intentionally engineered as a part of the war in the West. Thank you. Fedor Dankstoyevsky for 5. At what point is pushing this woke trash going to lead to SEC violations? Woke is not in the fiduciary interest of the shareholders, clearly. Well, that I think we're talking extremes for something like that. You would have to prove that they're intentionally trying to lose the company money, which is very difficult. Ryan's Top Teeth becomes a channel member. Thank you. Angry Eddie TV for 2. There's only 6 Star Wars movies. Ronan the Crusader becomes a channel member. Gemstone for 5. Married black man, have 3 adopted sons, 2 biological daughters, aged 3 to 14. None of them are interested in this movie. Would rather watch Mario. Trump 2024.
Yes.
Thank you, Gemstone. Eric Stratton for 777. Ryan, they added a Cleopatra walk-around character to the Mummy ride. The real one. By the way, G&G Daily equals morning magic. I might have to go and meet Cleopatra at Universal then with my headdress on.
Yes.
That might be a good idea for me.
That's a good vlog right there, Ryan.
Nerds and Normies for 10. Wow, your universe is worse than I thought. My universe has 3 indie movies. Our George Lucas never sold out, and made 12 Star Wars movies. Luke lived to be 100 and rebuilt a better Jedi with thousands of members. Hey, I wish I was in that universe. Karnak Kentrell for 5. Just discovered a new indie comic, The Little Mermaid, an epic action comic on Fund My Comic. Hey, check it out. The Little Mermaid, Fund My Comic. Thank you, Karnak. Anak Maman for 2. Beat Titanfall 2 on hard mode last night.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
Spiderclaw for 5. Been watching the chat, and I got to say, MCU fan really loves you guys. I think MCU fan is our biggest fan.
Yes.
No doubt. 52 movies a year for 199. Jeremy, did you play DMZ?
Call of Duty DMZ. I've not played DMZ yet. I've heard a lot of people saying that it's really good. I'm game to try it this weekend. So we are going to be playing Call of Duty, Tidefall, Fortnite. There's going to be some gaming this weekend for sure. So stay on the lookout for that.
Christian Wolf for 199. You can't be black. You didn't vote for Joe Biden.
That's right.
Tack becomes a channel member. Welcome to the 199 again.
Tack gifted, I think, 5. So.
He did earlier. I don't know if he did more after that, but he did earlier that I hit. Populous Monster for 5. Jeremy, if you don't want to watch the movie, just challenge Gary to an arm wrestling contest in the most autistic way possible. That's what men do? Question mark.
Oh man.
Pretty much.
Gary's my bro. So looks like Friday Night Tights is gonna be pretty lit today.
Sophie for 6. Big rumors that Tamora Morrison will play Rex in Ahsoka. Love these characters so much. Don't want to watch and see them destroyed. Seeing Rex, though. Thoughts? This is exactly what I would expect. I would expect nothing less. I would expect Rex to appear in the Rebels sequel show, which is what Ahsoka is. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna watch it, so I just don't care. So I have no interest in any of this fucking Disney Star Wars shit. So.
Anak Maman for 5. Hollywood, stop trying to make Aquafina a thing. Same thing goes for Lizzo, Ezra Miller, Amy Schumer, Alana Glazer, and other woke icons. It ain't happening. Getting a lot of work, but she seems to be hated in all of it. Agamemnon Fireman for 10. Doug TenNaples takes are trash. I love his work, but looking at his Twitter accounts, maybe lose respect, especially over pop culture, Matt Walsh and Star Wars. Dang. Thank you, Agamemnon.
Agreed.
John Connors, member for 2 months. I don't know anyone who knows more alleged dog whistlers than MCU fan. How interesting. And then Sophie, welcome back to becoming a channel member. Thank you, Sophie. There's one more thing we have to talk about, and that's the Flash movie.
Oh boy.
A couple days ago, we were here and we were talking about the big reveal that Andy Muschietti made that I don't know if Jeremy's even really talked about
I'm
yet.
aware of it. Yeah.
Nick Cage is going to make a Superman cameo appearance. Not even a spoiler. The
Why
director's
would
the
he
one who
announce
revealed
this?
this.
Why would he announce this?
Because
Are they
you want to
that
get people
desperate?
excited.
They
You want to
must
get people
be
excited.
They must be that desperate to get people to see this movie because of the Ezra Miller stuff. And again, this is a problem with the Ezra Miller stuff. Like, I personally would have loved to have not known this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have loved to not know this and just
go
been
in and see it.
Yes. It pisses me off that they release this information. Now, again, I think it's kind of funny and it's almost a meme. So it's not like I'm seeing this going, oh, this is my Superman or something. But the fact that they fucking released this is so stupid. And it shows the desperation because they've got so much into this movie and the Ezra Miller optics are so bad that they're willing to basically just blow their entire load before the movie even comes out. And I would have rather not known that. That would have been a cool thing to experience. But here we are.
And I think people have been a little surprised about how much positive word of mouth there is right now about Flash. Seems like everyone that's seen it, and there's some people out there that are like over the top, oh, it's a masterpiece, whatever. But it seems like most people are like, yeah, it's good. It's solid. A lot of nostalgia berries, like a lot of things like this. But the box office projections have done something very interesting over the past week, which might explain why they released that news about Nick Cage. When the first box office projections came out, it was sitting there and projected to make $120 to $140 million its opening weekend, which certainly isn't like Marvel big MCU numbers, but for the DCEU, those are big numbers. We haven't seen an opening like that since Batman v Superman. That's the best since 2016. Not a lot of these things go to over 100 million, but something has changed apparently within the last week, because despite those numbers before, 120 to 140 million that we were hearing, all of a sudden yesterday, we started to get different news. Ezra Miller's The Flash and Pixar's Elemental encounter box office headwinds. Early tracking now shows The Flash opening to a soft 70 million. Another site with The Wrap, The Flash clocked 75 million early box office projected launch in early projections. Early box office projections suggest The Flash may be racing toward a modest opening weekend. That is a very different story for this movie. That would put it very close to the opening weekend of Black Adam. $67 million opening weekend for Black Adam. That's what you're now looking at. That would be a nightmare. That would be worst case scenario for this movie. And it's very weird that there's been so much positive word of mouth, yet now the box office is tracking the wrong way for this movie. It could certainly change, but right now that's what all the trades are running with, this $70 to $75 million opening weekend.
That's not good. And so I know, like, I commented on Flash's tweet, because I mean, and I understand where he's coming from, because he's saying it's $1 billion movie because of the Keaton element, because we saw what happened with No Way Home and how that nostalgia took things over the top. Michael Keaton is a very beloved Batman, rightfully so. I love Michael Keaton's Batman. Batman 89 still holds up very, very well. And the marketing I think the marketing has been pretty good in terms of the trailers and stuff like that. The Ezra Miller dynamic is the problem with this movie. And I don't know, man. DC has not, outside of the Nolan trilogy, DC has not shown any real consistency to pull, $1 billion box office. I think Aquaman did it. And yes, Aquaman's the only one outside of the Nolan trilogy, right?
Aquaman is the only, DCEU movie to break $1 billion at the box office. And when you do look at these numbers, so you can look at it two ways, right? Aquaman had an opening weekend of $67 million. Granted, it did really well internationally, and it had legs and legs and legs. But no one was highly anticipating the release of Aquaman.
No.
The Flash is billed as that. The Flash is billed all these member berries. Oh, this last thing before James Gunn's DCEU. Michael Keaton's fucking Batman's returning. All these things. So that's why people are looking at the $67 million opening for Black Adam as a little bit more of an indicator of why DC should be worried if these numbers hold. Now, things can definitely change between now and June 16th. There's a lot of movies that are coming out this summer. It's a really clogged box office stage right now and set to be all through June. But holy shit, for it to drop from those early projections to now this big potentially big drop to 70 or 75 million, that would
That's
be kind of
big.
disastrous
That
for
is
them.
that is going to be a problem. And again, I think is an Ezra Miller problem along with a lot of I think there's a lot of problem with the DC EU, but specific to this movie right here, I think that Ezra Miller is the biggest problem with this movie right now. And they are trying very, very hard to make you think that this is more so a Batman centric movie with the marketing. And that's not really what it is. I don't know how long Michael Keaton's in the movie. I mean, he's in the movie.
He is
He's
the
in-
movie. He is the movie.
So is that how they kind of did they kind of restructure it a little bit, or is that just kind of what the original plan was?
I think that's always kind of the original plan, was that it was going to be really heavy on him. From what we've heard, the first 45 minutes or so are very Ezra focused. And then once they meet Michael Keaton's Batman,
It goes
he
No Way
really
Home.
drives, like
Yeah.
he's there, right? He is there and he's doing a lot of these things, and he is a big focal point of the movie, like undoubtedly.
Yeah.
All the way until the end.
Yeah. So it'll be, I don't know, man. 70 million is bad. That's really bad for what they're hoping. And what's the runtime on this movie?
I don't know if I've seen an official runtime yet. A lot of the screenings have said that they're not the final cut of things. Even the fan screening that they did a week ago didn't show the ending.
Yeah, that's what Chris Gore said that, right?
Yeah. So I think I don't know if it's official what the runtime is, because I don't know if anyone's seen the official final product.
Again, this is an Ezra Miller problem more so than anything. But with that said, it's hard to predict if it's going to make $1 billion because the Keaton nostalgia element. I tend to believe it's not going to make $1 billion. I tend to believe it's not going to be it won't lose money, I don't think, but I don't think it's going to be like this. It's not going to be No Way Home. I just don't see it. So we'll see. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you look at No Way Home and it's like No Way Home was obviously there's 3 elements. It was a perfect storm. I don't think people hate Tom Holland. I think a lot of people don't like the universe Tom Holland's in. You know, and maybe but in terms of like Tom Holland as an actor, I don't think people hate Tom Holland.
I think if you throw Tom Holland into like the Toby movies or whatever, I think people would love him. You know what I mean? It's more about how he's utilized. The fact that he's always this understudy to Iron Man, and that's
right.
That it's always like the same fucking story with him about not wanting to accept this responsibility. To be honest, after No Way Home, I'm more excited for a Tom Holland potential Spider-Man movie than I ever had been before.
Yeah.
Because they reset him to where a lot of people wanted him to belong always. They wanted him to just be on his own. They wanted him to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, focused on New York, focused on these areas, and not all this other crazy shit, and not relying on everyone else to help him all the time. So, ironically, I don't know what Tom Holland's going to do the rest of the MCU. I don't know what plans they have, but I'm more excited for a Tom Holland solo Spider-Man movie, say if Sony made one, than I ever thought I would have been before No Way Home.
Well, yeah, and so that point, and so there's 3 elements. There's Tom Holland, which people I think liked, versus Ezra Miller, what people hate. And then you have the other 2 pieces to the puzzle, where you have Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, which I did not like at all. Yet No Way Home made me love him. It redeemed him 100% in my eyes, redeemed him. And of course, Toby being the definitive Spider-Man, and everybody loves him. So you had 3 perfect elements where even though Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man wasn't the most popular, the movie itself redeemed him. Whereas this movie, there's so much hanging over it. Of course, the Ezra Miller stuff, and the fact that James Gunn is blowing all this up anyway. You know what I mean? So we already know that's going on. Then you have 2 Batmans in the movie that are very popular. Michael Keaton's on pure nostalgia, and Ben Affleck's, who has a huge fan base. But we all know that that's not really going to continue on. You know what I mean? So the movie's a mess, just like most of the DCEU is always a mess.
Yeah, that's the way it is. We'll see what happens. Certainly some concerning numbers if you're Warner Brothers. A lot of depend on the holds, a lot of depend on international, but you can't like the fact that it dropped so significantly just in a week, when you're looking at these projections. I saw someone in chat say the movie's 2 weeks away from release and it's not finished. It's not that it's not finished. It's that they've been screening different cuts, I think, to keep some mystery behind it. So the one they showed at CinemaCon was not the final product. The one that they showed at the fan screening a week ago is not the final product. They made that very clear beforehand. It's not that the movie's not done. It's that they don't want to show it because they want people to have positive word of mouth, but they don't want to give away this big ending that they have. So
yep.
I think that's a big reason for it. We do have the first numbers from the Little Mermaid Thursday, $10 million Thursday preview for the Little Mermaid. $10 million.
What is that compared to something like, say, Mario?
We can look at what it's compared to Mario in a second. I know Guardians, just off the top of my head, I remember that Guardians was a $17 million opening weekend or Thursday opening. Those movies are different. Like, again, MCU movies, those Thursday previews are just different. People have been trained to watching those things opening weekend and going to these big Thursday previews. Let me look at Mario Mario the numbers.
So I would say it's not a bad, terrible opening, but it's not massively strong either. What are the estimates for this weekend? 3-day.
For the 3-day. So 3-day right now, anywhere right around $100 million. What I'm seeing is between 100 and some people have it going more. Some people have it going all the way up to 120 3-day and then 140 Memorial Day weekend. But the trades pretty much across the board have been reported in what Disney's estimating around $120 million for the 4-day weekend, $100 million for the traditional 3-day.
Okay.
See if I can find daily box office performance. What the fuck? This doesn't make any sense.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, Mario opened a day early. It opened on Wednesday, didn't it?
Oh, that's right. It did. Yeah, I forgot about that. So it did open a day early. That might not be a good one to make the comparisons on.
Yeah, so that's a little bit tough. Although that had a fucking $31 million.
Whew.
So, $31 million in that April opening, or that Wednesday open. That's fucking crazy. I think it might have had a lot of pre-screenings and stuff like that. I don't exactly remember. That was a strange one, so I don't really want to compare it to that, to be honest with you. What about Aladdin? That was a long time ago,
but it's still
way different, but this is what it should really be compared against. Thursday previews weren't as prevalent back then, there's no doubt. See, that one had about $7 million in Thursday previews. So that's a good comparison to tell you how Little Mermaid's performing. Right now, it's expected to slightly outperform Aladdin over its domestic 3-day and Memorial Day weekend. But internationally, it's not expected to get anywhere near what Aladdin got. That's where we're at.
It's not. Its domestic opening is not terrible, but it's also not $1 billion strong either.
Yeah, to put in perspective, the fucking normal weekend opening, Little Mermaid projected right now a little over $100 million. Aladdin was around $91 million. But the global opening, Aladdin was around $210. Global opening for Little Mermaid projected at $180. That tells you why that's so different. Yeah, Frozen 2, $8.5 million. So that's a strong number. I think $10 million is a strong number, despite Thursday previews being more prevalent now than they were in 2019.
What did Frozen 2 do domestically? Because I know its international box office was ridiculous.
Probably like 400 something. 477 million domestic total.
Ooh, that's a lot. That is a lot. So time will tell. Again, I still think this movie is going to do decent for sure. So
it's gonna that had a big opening. That had a big 3-day opening. But anyway, let's get back to Super Chat. We got distracted just talking about random box office shit. All right, where are we? My penis hurts for 5. I asked my boss this morning if he was going to take his grandkids to see Little Mermaid this weekend. His response, I'd rather burn in hell. Easy enough. Jay's Salty Beaver for 5. Today's my 31st birthday. Hey, happy birthday. P.S. Happy belated birthday to Quarter Black Garrett. See y'all in FNT. We will see you there.
Let's go.
Selena Redwine for 199. Buy a ticket to Super Mario Brothers and sneak in. Don't give Disney your money. I would say Fast X. To be honest, there's a lot of Fast X screenings.
I want to see Fast X.
And
I'd go see that than a Little Mermaid.
To be honest, it's just a lot of opening seats in Little Mermaid right now. So if you want to, it's an easy way. Mike Hill for 5. It's looking like more bad news for Pixar and Disney with Elemental only projected to make $40 million. I'll probably do a separate video on that at some point. that would be, again, one of the worst Pixar openings they've ever had. So things continue to not be well for Disney on the animated front. Hate Me Toast for 10. Who's winning? The Queen of the Woke, Kathleen Kennedy, feminist Lucasfilm, or Kevin Feige, MCU? Hail the 199 and the Fellowship.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. Hacky Smack for 5. Good morning, you two gems. Thank you. Enoch for 6. Pepper's Vajayjay scented candles put me off of Batman. Pepper Potts's? Why? Is Michael Keaton involved with Gwyneth Paltrow in some way? I don't know. Maybe they are. Enoch Maman, abuser Streamlabs for 5. Toby Emmerich's Warner Brothers fired Henry Cavill and kept Ezra Miller. Just let that sink in.
Yeah.
Jesus Davila for 199 with a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Head over, make sure we're good. Over on Rumble, the clear site for $1 is Gary in the chat. Fucking boomer. Where's the square up for last FNT? I'm sure it's on the way. Clear site. I'm sure it's on the way.
He's the hardest working man on the internet. He'll get to it.
Axel Jessen for 5. Jeremy Schoen is back on Cobracast. Reminds me of the good old days. Late night G&G hotel streams with foot pics with Ethot Jeremy.
Yes. Hey, Cobracast is getting us back to our roots. So I'll be live tonight after FNT. Cobracast returns.
Celluloid Dream for 199. Yo, my ninjas. What's up? We're all caught up.
We are all caught up. Well, I'm going to try to go see this fucking movie since the chat demanded it. So, here we go, I guess. It's going to be wonderful. And, but the chat is always right. I work for you. That's the only people I work for is you. So 69%, a good number. I will say that's a good number. I wish it would have been 69% in the opposite direction, but the chat has spoken. The 199 demands it. And I will plunge my hands into the filth of the Little Mermaid. And that sounded really bad. But anyway, I will plunge my hands into the filth of Disney's garbage, woke identity politics driven movie, race swapped Little Mermaid, for all of your entertainment. And I will give you my honest opinions on it. So the chat is always right. So we'll see you on Friday Night Tights. Hope you guys have a great day. It's good to be back. And again, after Friday Night Tights, we got Cobra Cast over on my D-Day Cobra channel. And trust me, there's a lot to talk about from that perspective. And more political stuff for sure. But pretty much whatever you guys want to talk about, obviously, the show belongs to you. And this weekend, we got the pool stream. So we're doing a pool stream, not like a swimming pool, but we're actually playing pool. We've got the overhead camera. We've got different cameras set up here at HQ.
You should just title it a pool stream.
Yeah, and put like the girls in the bikinis in the thumbnail. And but yeah, we're gonna be playing pool. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not very good. Not very good at all, but that's what it's here for, is to entertain you guys. So that will be here on this channel on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. Other than that, thank you, Ryan. Anything?
Taker for 5. You guys remember that Tommy Boy scene where he explains how he ruins his sale? We need the Legion to make a meme of that with Bob Iger and Kathleen. Graham Peltakin for 5. You plunge your hands into her filth, and that's why she made that face. Yes. Hey, go check out Meta PCs. We need to make sure we plug Meta PCs. Those guys are awesome. Use code 199 or Geeks, whichever you want, for a discount over there. The link is in the description of this stream and in the description of every single stream and video we do here on this channel. But other than that, I'm good to go.
We're good to go. So I got to double check one thing really quickly. Let's see. All right. So I am going to be getting these because we had taken these off of 221B. But I think we're going to add them back because some people were asking. So the hoodie that I wear all the time, 221B Tactical, I'll get those back up on the site. If you guys are interested, we need to move some. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. I'll see you on Friday Night Tights over on Nerddrotics channel. And other than that, you guys have a great night, a great day, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.